Bittencourt is an old name. It's my father's name. My father was Brazilian, 100%.
Yes.
But Bittencourt has a French origin.
Yeah.
And it's a name from the north of France at the time of what they call the Middle Age.
Yes.
And they say that there was one of those small kingdoms at that time. There were many.
Yes.
And the king had a bastard son.
Yeah.
And so this bastard son, they used to call him Bête en cour.
Yeah, bet on core.
Yeah, cour means court.
Yes.
And bet means that it's a bit not very depreciative way of calling it.
Yeah.
It's a bastard son.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was like the bastard in court.
Yeah.
So Bittencourt becomes the name. And this name, at the time of the big discoveries, somehow came through the Canarian Islands, which are in the middle of Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
So you find Bittencourt people, Spanish.
Yeah.
And then they came to South America. So you find people with the same name in Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Colombia. It's spread.
Yeah.
all
At some
over.
point, I thought it was it was a Spanish name. And then to note that you have a French origin, so it's confusing. So that's.
But
that's
my French side, I don't have the family name of my mother. It's my father.
So what would be your surname? Is it Jean Philippe? Which one is the surname? Like Eddie or Kila? Which one is yours?
No, my Okila is
Bittencourt.
Bittencourt. Yes.
Ah, okay.
Jean Philippe is my Christian name, is my baptist name.
My dream is for guys to be like me. We have coronavirus. Our parents are left with nothing in the pocket. Me, I did sciences and I passed. But I had no money for the university. There are guys there at the university, they don't know what's next. So we welcome them to coffee. And we get to know how the skill is going to push their lives forward. So through coffee, everything is possible. For example, the girl child. Concentrate more on the girl child.
I'm glad that you actually brought that up.
The girl child. Though that is the gender that we all need to help faster. Because we guys, we can plan any gig and get it by the girl child. We don't want our girls to be used in order to get money. But we can train them how they can earn money for themselves. A good woman in coffee is a good entrepreneur. They are our big ladies in the industry. And I think you know them.
Some of them.
Some of them. But I use those ladies as examples to the girl child when I'm training them. I train them not to be hunters that have now known roasting. What's next? Now I train you to know the roasting stage and where you can get something for your pocket. Every lady that you enter in someone's office with a coffee mind, it will be like a surprise to the boss or to the person or to the customer she has gone to. So the girl child mainly like I want the girl child to enter more in coffee. Like we want more girls in the industry.
Yeah.
Yes. And a girl child that is a good roaster, like 5 millions abroad.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
And now DIT, that's the reason why DIT is coming in, because we've tried to create this awareness that the designers or the tailors must be supported in this industry, and also other stakeholders, because being a fashion president, I'm not just talking about designers being a designer, but all the industry I'm talking about, the people who supply us machines. We have Kiembe people, Kiembe sewing machines. We have the people supplying us with fabrics. We have people teaching. We need journalists, people who can talk right about fashion, present nice pictures, not the pictures that people aim at, taking knickers for the models.
Yeah.
That's not what we are looking at. We are trying to address it nicely and properly. Yeah. So the reason why I'm doing that, abantu basobole okwekkiririzamu that guno omulimu gwa bbeeyi. DIT has already assessed us, and many other centers that have been put outside there for people, the tailors who are already skilled, to go and be assessed so they can be accredited. If you have good thoughts, maybe you have a birowozo ebirungi you want to table in the parliament, you can as well be able to stand as a parliamentary, as an MP. You get a point. But before, luli babadde batuita omutunzi. Abo batunzi. Like minimizing. When you fail exams, try okutunga. It's not for failures. This is for really genuine people with brains, because there's a lot of mathematics, there's so much geometry, statistics in clothing. Come on, you cannot fail elsewhere and think you're going to try it. Try it this side. Yeah.
It is a creative industry talk. My name is Ed Yokila, and of course this morning on the program, or this evening or night, afternoon, depending on which part of the world you're actually watching the program from, it's coming to you live from Kampala, and in the studio is the one and only Faizo Chiwewa from Bayimba Foundation. He's back on the show. He is a resident panelist, and today, Faizo, we have a very interesting human being. A boy known from the West Nile part of the country, and Abdul Fattah Rashid. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Great.
How are you
Don't
doing
to
there?
cover Egypt.
Yes, yes.
Well,
And just to make Abdul Art, just to make people know, and of course, I want to welcome everybody, every one of you out there back to the show today. And of course, Abdul is from Abdul Art Uganda. If you have been following his work, he's a contemporary artist, street artist. He's graffiti artist, as well as an educator, art educator in Kawempe. You know, a division of Kampala City, and of course doing some great things there, inspiring lives in that area. Abdul is going to be with us on the show, and today the topic of discussion, gentlemen, is going to be centered around you know, community art and skill development is our topic today. I think it's going to be starting from you, Faizo, as a man who recently launched Umva Creatives, which is a platform for these guys to showcase their work. First, tell us about Umva Creatives and why are you particularly picking on art?
Yeah, thanks. I think welcome everyone to this today. The reason why we started Umva Creatives is because it came out of COVID. Because there was a time when COVID had just started and we all thought it's going to take a week or a few days. And then it went into a month. Then the artists had started thinking, okay, I saved some money. And then after that, after 3 months, it had, you know, finished. And then they had to think about rent. They had to think about all other things that they need to do. And then it came out to be that actually, you know, phone calls started coming. Oh, I need some help here, you know, and it became a trend that artists were really running out and they needed some help. Even when the government came in to do some little support, it was not really enough. So we thought, how can we, now that we've learned that when we are in such a situation, we run out of resources very quickly, how can we make sure that artists can have somewhere they can sell their work that does not need physically to have them present or to have people present? And we took the example of like iTunes, Spotify, and all these digital platforms for musicians. It's not the same for like visual artists. Of course, visual arts works in galleries and exhibitions and fairs. So we thought that creating a platform where visual artists can put up their work and it can be sold online without them being present, and they can receive their money at home. That's why we started Umva Creatives.
Wow. And Abdul,
Yeah.
welcome to the program. First of all, who is Abdul Fattah?
Abdul Fattah Rash is my name. I'm from Kawempe. I was born in Lubaga Hospital. I'm a professional in my kind of art I'm doing, like visual arts, graffiti art. So I have tried to push forward my art, you get. So even I'm trying to get some different people who do my stuff, you understand. So there are those with disabilities, so they come and join me so that we can push our art forward in Uganda. So here, the problem or the challenge we get, people here don't appreciate, or it's like they appreciate, but they don't support us, you understand. So the way how I'm moving around in different areas, going, making different pictures. So art can speak everything, like that of COVID I did. So I try to make that part of art like that, so people can come and support us. But I finished that work before going or moving around, looking for those who can support us, but no one came out to support us anymore. So that's the challenge we have here in Uganda. So as we artists, it's like as the government is focusing on music, you understand. There are those who, like as we say, musicians, they get awards, you get. But as they are putting us apart, they are not talking about us. I don't know why, but for me, what I'm trying to push the art at a high level so that we can speak as we artists, as we young generation. So I don't know whether you try out and move around it in the city and you find young young children down there, like trying to make something better for the world. They practice, but people just pass around them, you understand? They don't help them, you just see them, you understand? Yeah, so that's my issue, and that's how, for me, I want the government to help, even though they don't help me, but they can help those who are in need. You understand?
Okay. So Abdul, but first, before we even go to government, Faizo here is government himself.
Retired.
Yeah, Faizo is government. He has a whole state house in Lunkulu, where he sits and do his stuff from there. And you've heard about Umba Creative. But I want to take you straight, Abdul.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you talked about this now, that art is not very much appreciated, and people who do visual art and paint artists are not very much appreciated. But I want to take you straight to, how did you end up being an artist?
I started doing art in 2018, but now people I've spent 5 years doing art. So someone can see my work on the wall. Him or us can know that I've spent a lot of years doing this art on the walls. So I stopped in S4.
Okay.
You understand? And I started doing art. It's I had my friends. You understand? So I told my friends, why don't you come and join me? As there's no work anymore, so that we can push art forward. So I started doing that art in 2018. So I got a challenge. I went with my work at Uganda Road. You understand? So that they can support us. But the bad thing, I went there, they just told me my work is still, I have to go back home and practice so that I can take them nice work.
Yes.
You understand? So after getting their words, or after understanding their stuff, what they are saying to me, so I went back home and started practicing. So I started doing this work of art on the wall. That was 2019. So 18 I was doing these portraits, this small painting, this hanging painting. It was a big challenge because I had no money on that time. You understand? People were not supporting us. It's even my mom didn't support me anymore. You understand? So for me, what I did, I went to some guys, asking them money so that I can buy my materials and come back home and do that type of art. So after doing that art on the wall, I got my guys who helped me to push my career forward. And there is a guy whom I met, that guy is called Japheth Isubuka. So that guy taught me art up to now, you understand? So he taught me how to mix colors, you understand? How to make canvases, you understand? For me, I didn't know how to make canvases, you understand? And I didn't know how to mix colors, or I can get red and black and yellow to bring out that brown color. I didn't know that. So even yellow plus blue, you can mix it and you get green. I didn't know everything. So after getting all of those techniques from that guy, I started doing my own stuff. You understand? Forcing us taking art in the high level. You understand? As the guys told me, I have to practice everything so that I can take my work there, they buy. So I started doing that work slowly practicing. So the challenge I had, I didn't have a workspace. You understand? It was so tough on those days. On that days, people were just calling me to do their work. You understand?
Were they paying you?
On the phone, just sending me
when
money.
they called you to go and do their work, were they paying you?
Yeah, they were paying, but little money. You understand? They can give you, maybe someone can say, I need a painting, but I'm gonna give you 100. That 100 was so small because I have to buy paint, the facilitation. You understand? Even the people it's whom I'm working with, they also need money. You understand? But that's the challenge. Yeah, they can call you and it's you paint here, they give you little money. So art is so powerful here. You understand? So they have to give us enough money so that we can push our career forward so that we can be happy in it.
Okay. I want to take you straight to Faizo. Faizo, you've heard Abdul's story. Senior 4, dropped out, looking for what to do, and decided that I can't sit home all this time. I need to go into art. And before we know it, he's, for a person who started doing art in 2018 to what we're seeing today, I must say he's pretty talented, because there's a very short time, and more or less like competing with some really top artists that we have in the country. What do you have to say about this? And it's a story of many young people out there. You can see that Abdul has some bit of struggling with, how do I get my work out? How do I get people to believe in me? How do I move on from here? You are a promoter, and you've been promoting art for a while. What would you say to this young man, and how would you help him to go?
No, I mean, it's a fascinating story, and it's a story of our generation. Most of us come from this background, because you go back, like we will grow up, we were born in the war period, we grew up during the war, and then even though we're young, we didn't see how it happened. Then when we got out of that, however much we tried with our parents, they could not push us too much. And then we found ourselves, lacking support. And then you have to reinvent yourself. And I'm very proud of Abdul Fattah's, effort to reinvent himself, to find a meaning and a skill or something that is passionate for him, and continue. But also, living in a neighborhood of challenges. Kawempe is a very challenging community. And however much I love, I'm a Muslim, and Kawempe is, it's our
Muslim community.
And it's also an effect. If you want to understand the level of poverty, not in the mind, but in terms of religious poverty, and the level of dropout in schools, it's very much within the Muslim communities. I look at Chibuli. I was born and grew up in Chibuli. When you go to Kawempe, when you go to all these Muslim communities, if you walk around, you find that they have children and they couldn't afford to take them to school. So they either choose secular education was not their thing, so they took them to madrasas and bilals. But again, you come back that they have been businessmen, they have been entrepreneurial and adventurous. So that's why most of the young people in these communities come out to do some crazy stuff, and they're very exciting, that are actually very communal, because they are raised in communities. We grew up in communities, and you find most of the community entrepreneurs are Muslims, because you grew up with people around you. You're not growing up in a segregated or closed door. You're open to people. Your first approach is always back to the people, and I think it's a very good thing. But I think also, for me, the issue on the development of an individual like Abdul Fattah is really to look at, to study the environment. Yes, we can do community work, but we also have to understand, if I want to grow, how do I move from one step to another?
Exactly.
And I think, for me, one thing I noticed being a programmer in this business is that people like spectacles. People want to see things are amazing. And not in terms of like just color or but concepts. And so I think one of the things that I really think maybe you need to think about, I've seen your work, it's amazing. I think you need to work on, maybe in the next 2 years, work on 1 or 2 masterpieces. Work on 2 masterpieces that you will take your time. As we said earlier, graffiti takes time, needs patience. You need like 2 or 3 masterpieces that someone will be like, wait a minute, what was that? Who did that? And then you start looking out, you can start selling those works, because I know so many graffiti festivals around the world. I know a friend of mine is having a space in Antwerp in Belgium. And I was visiting his graffiti. It's amazing. It's amazing. So they invite all these graffiti artists, and they come from around the world, and they spend there for 6 months working on pieces. So you need to start looking out for those places where you can go and share your work. But you have to go when you're ready. You have to go when you have something you're sharing. When you have a story. And I also like the concept of topics like COVID and stuff like that. I think it has been a very trending concept these days, which is right. I think we need to talk about artists, speak about things that are happening in society.
I mean, well, they are using artists to communicate about COVID-19.
Yeah. So that the challenge is, how do you monetize that?
Yeah.
How do you make it? Of course, it's really difficult to sell graffiti. Yes. It's not like a fashion show or cloth or a song or a piece of art. But how do you move your graffiti work from the wall to the market? Because I don't remember the last time I went to Kawempe, so I'll never see your work.
Yes.
But how do you get your work from that wall to
Kampala Road? Or to Faizo's office.
Exactly. Or to anyone, to Eddie's show.
Yeah.
Have a print or create something that. So we need to think around, how do we monetize? The way you do those paintings, and people buy them or donate them or whatever it is. So we need to think around, how do you monetize your work from the wall to your pocket?
Yeah. Well, Abdul, yes, we're going to take a break, but you can add to that. Yes.
Okay. So let me tell you this. Yeah. I have like 3 masterpieces, that of COVID. One is in Kawempe, one is in Kamocha. But on that day, I try to go and meet those who will manage to take our stuff for us, so that we can produce more work in Uganda. One day I met Ruth Acheng. I went with a proposal. I wrote everything. It wasn't easy to meet her. But I went there, I introduced my work, I told her that
how they can use your work and that to
communicate,
teach people about COVID-19 and what COVID-19 is.
What she told me, I will call you, you understand? So as we tell that, no one is like we can take work to different people.
Did Dr. Honorable Ruth Acheng call you back?
No, didn't call me. That's the problem we have. You understand? As you say that we have to bring out the why we take it so that they can support, but no one can do that, you understand? As I tried on that day, you understand? But
but you don't stop, Abdul, when you go to one office, you don't stop. What Faizo is saying, you need to keep knocking, continuous knocking of the door, opening the door to people. If you go one time and you get frustrated, the next time you're not going to go. I mean, Faizo here can tell you his story of how much he had to go through before buying back and be birth. Did you know that Faizo had to work somewhere for so many years for his dream to come to pass?
I understand.
Yes, so you have got to be that.
But also, like when I was doing my first festival, I think, and I put it on record, I wrote 1,000 proposals, which I sent out to all, and you know how hard it is. You're really hustling. You're saving. You're tapping on your saving, and you have to print all these proposals nicely, put them in an envelope, deliver them to the
1,000.
1,000, and no one called back.
Yeah, that's not true.
Hold it right there, gentlemen. We're gonna have to go for a break, and when we come back, we're going to listen to how Faizo's 1,000 proposals, will help Abdul and learn how to sell his work and to make it better. Stay right there. We'll be right back after this break. This is a Creative Industry Talk. Eddie Okela, Faizo Chiwewa, Abdul Fattah Rashid of Abdul at UG. We'll be right back after this break.
If you create a space which enables people to think and thrive, that's a bonus. Before I started working officially, I used to do a lot of freelance work. And as a young freelancer, my laptop was on my back. And I didn't have an internet connection. I didn't have an office desk. It was difficult for me to work at home. So what I did is I would go and sit in a restaurant, buy some tea or breakfast, and ask for a Wi-Fi password. And then I would sit there and have my breakfast slowly, as I did my work, and I sent work to clients and everything, But before long, lunchtime, it would be lunchtime, and they
You
would
have
bring,
to be forced to eat also.
they would bring you a lunch menu. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So when you find a space where people can come and sit and pay for a full day.
10,000, I'm told.
Yes, you see, that is creativity.
Yeah.
Because the owner of this building or the owner of this space knows that people, there's a certain segment of the market that can't afford to rent a premises per square meter or 10 square meters or 100 square meters and pay monthly and bring their own furniture, their own internet connection, carpeting, light and everything, a working bathroom, and then lunch for staff members. So they think about it creatively and they say, how many people can this space take? 100 people per day. Okay, good. If each of those people pays 10,000 per day, and they come and have access to the internet and a nice chair and a desk and a good environment where they can concentrate and deliver. That is brilliant. That is creativity in the workplace.
Hello everyone. By the names, I'm called Abdul Fatah Rashid. For me, art is my passion. Many art can be described in sharing one is the thought, vision, motion, and even dance. Let us see how art in Uganda has
Welcome back to the program. This is a Creative Industry Talk. My name is Edio Killer, and in the studio is Faizo Chiwewa and Abdul Fatah. We're talking about creative arts. We're talking about skill development in the art industry, as well as community art. How do you tell the story of a community from using your work and using your talent and changing the lives of people in the community where you are? Abdul surely is a very big inspiration in his community in Kawempe, and you can see the move there. You've seen that video with a deaf and dumb guy trying to communicate to us about his work and what he's trying to do and the learning. That is what Creative Industry Talk is all about. Creative Industry Talk is a conceptually grounded program that brings together all the people in the art and craft business, music, creativity, everyone who is in a creative industry to come together to have a discussion, to expose our works and to link ourselves to the market. And of course, to bring people like Faizo who are doing it to come and share ideas, people like Abdul to come and share ideas. Gentlemen, welcome back to the program. Abdul, first we want to go back to your route from Arua. You are a Lugbara from Arua, that's what we understood. Yes.
So he's a Jaffa cousin.
Yes, Jaffa from Arua. So let's talk slightly a little bit more. Somebody just asked me, says, that's a son, I read from your post, somebody was sending a message from the post that you were a son of Arua and they want to know how they can support you. And the person was saying, you have people like, you know, Jaffa Eta who is doing great stuff. Why isn't your work part of the work that he's doing? Maybe this is a moment for us to link you up there. But let's talk about your route from Arua. Yes.
Actually, I'm a Rugba from Arua, so I have grown up here in Uganda, in Kampala.
Okay.
Even the bad stuff, like I don't know how to speak that language. I just speak Swahili and English, Uganda.
Yeah.
That's all, but I don't know that language.
The language, yes.
Yeah.
So how come you've not been able to go back home?
Actually, I haven't.
Because Arua people will give you mercy.
Yeah. It's like this. It's like my dad died. You understand?
Yeah.
For me, I stopped going in Arua. I was young.
Yeah.
And that day was 7 years.
Okay.
Up to now, I haven't gone there. There is some issues like which can't allow me to go back there. You understand?
Okay.
But for me, what I can do to go back is like my art can take me, go there and support them. Like I can go there and make different pictures which can speak and which can tell people stop doing this. That's the only stuff I can do. I'm staying with my mom right now, and my sisters and brothers. We are 7.
Yeah.
So even my mom's not going there. It's like we just staying here in Uganda, trying to take our life forward. Yeah.
Okay. I want everybody, Faisal, that's Abdul work right there. And you can see that work right there. And I want everybody out there to share that as far as possible. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
That work is at Tura Road. Yeah.
This is part of your coronavirus work. What does this mean, Abdul?
Actually, it's mean that the meaning of that art is showing, like you are saying, the officers, the soldiers, they are trying to give food to the people. You understand?
In the van, in the truck.
The truck. Even the world, you are saying the globe, showing the virus is attacking everywhere.
Yes.
You understand? So as you see in this man here, there are some people behind, they are trying to pray. You understand? Yeah, they are praying so that the virus can go. You understand? So that guy you're seeing there, that gentleman, is a guy, the owner of BTM television.
Okay.
Yeah, he tried to support me and do that work.
Okay.
You understand? So even I have a lot of paintings. I'm having like that of Magufuli is also at Tura Road.
What was the inspiration behind
the inspiration is like the day a guy died.
You painted that?
Yeah, I just painted that so that I can represent my work to the whole Tanzania. You understand? I'm having my friends there, so for me I just painted.
A tribute.
Showing them that even in this side we are so, it's like, I don't know how I can speak, but it was it was so powerful.
Yes.
So I had to paint that work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have at one point reach out to try and take this work to, if you just put that work up, would you been able to take it to the Tanzanian High Commission, basically to say this is a tribute from me and my people in Kawempe?
Yeah, it was hard me to go there. You understand? Even I just had my friend, they were sharing the work.
Okay.
You understand? They are just sharing to their friends in Tanzania.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
what
want you to hold it right there, Abdul, and I want to go to Faisal. Faisal, certainly Abdul has something to offer to the world.
Yeah.
And mentorship management is needed in Abdul's life. He's got the talent, he's got what it takes to get there, but we need to help Abdul to expose his work. Ideally, Abdul had a very good plan that most of us talking about it in this community would never have thought about, that a president of another country died. He had his little friends, and he said that my little friends are mourning their president. We are mourning with you guys. He painted the picture on that same day. Ideally, this should have gone to the Tanzanian High Commission to communicate to the people of Kawempe. And you know, it looks little, but this is a big thing. How would you help this young man?
No, but I think, you know, we have to also differentiate. I think Abdul's concept is not really necessarily that you painted the work to go to the embassy.
Yes.
But I think, you know, he's a community artist.
Yes.
So there is a in him, I think there is a feeling of sharing, because he wouldn't do the same in Nakasero or at Kisementi. There's no space for that. But because he knows this community and this is where he lives, so he felt sharing his tribute with his colleagues in Tanzania in the space he knows is a way of also sharing it with the community in Kawempe. And I think that's really very strong and relevant. And for me, it also goes back, like, what does it mean to be a community artist? What does it mean to to work within a community whereby you are all in the same boat, but maybe no, what did they say? You are in the same storm, but in different boats. Yeah. So so I think here, for me, if you are working for a community, there are certain things that you have to do for the sake of the community, and where you're not expecting to earn from. And if you're working for yourself, it doesn't mean that if you're working for yourself, you don't work for the community, or when you're working for the community, you don't work for yourself. So I think there is a need for a differentiation here in terms of, like, what do I do for my community and what do I do for myself? Because at the end of the day, you need to survive. You need revenue. You need to pay your bills or support your mom as well with your siblings. So I think
you are doing that because you want to earn.
Exactly.
So that you can improve onto your life, so that you can, like you said.
So for me, I think the advice would be, like, what is the relationship between your community work and the work and your business? You know, if you think your community work is your business, then you have to have a model that is going to work to help you to earn from that community work. But then it ceases to be community and it becomes your business. You get what I mean? So when we work for our communities in the arts community, we work for them. We actually invest in them, you know, and then for us to survive as individuals, we have to find other alternative sources of revenue. And that's where I think Abdul has to think around and say, okay, my graffiti, my community education, my art, my area is where I feed my community with my skill and time and investment. But for me as a person, I need to find my own business revenue.
So in other words, Faisal, what you're saying is that what we're seeing are being put on the screen.
It's public art.
So for example, Abdul, what Faisal is saying, that you can sell that art piece. So that should be in somebody's office. That should be in my office. That should be in Faisal's office. That should be in my sitting room. It reminds me that this work is painted by a community, by Abdul in this community, and I have it in my home. It makes me feel good. So what is the cost of that? Have you ever attached the cost to that?
Actually, I'm doing different paintings. I do all branding right now. So as you say that I need, like, to do community work and do other business. So I'm doing White Star. I'm doing White Star. You don't know White Star Magic?
No.
So that's World soap. And I'm doing Cowboy. It's like people get my number, call me. For me, what I do, I paint my street art on the wall. I put my number there. You know, everyone is passing there. Everyone passing on my paintings. Okay, so I don't just paint there. I just paint. Then after writing my name, then I put my number. So I'm getting more on my business. People calling me, Abdul, I want you to paint my picture. Can you? Yes, I can paint. You understand? Even those companies like that of White Star, they call me, Abdul, can you do wall branding art on our walls? Yes, I can do. You understand? Even like to do community work in Kawempe. It's like I can't move from Kawempe to other side. You understand? It's very difficult for me to go in town. You understand? Or in Nakasero. You understand? People ask a lot of money to brand your stuff, to put your work. Yeah. That's why I'm mainly working in there in Kawempe. And it's very difficult for me to move from Kawempe and go to Masaka. You understand? That's a big challenge.
But I think it is. I think you can move to Masaka.
Yeah, I can.
I mean, graffiti is also about resistance, resilience, and what is it about? You know, it's also advocacy. You know, when you're doing a mask, the Corona campaign. Yeah. Corona is not only for people in Kampala to know about. It can also work in Masaka. It can work in Toro. But I think the challenge is, how do you find those spaces? Yes. I mean, graffiti, like there's a mural here. I don't know, at Audience. I don't know whether you saw it.
And on that, people ask me money to paint my work there. Yes. I don't just go there. Just putting it, you understand?
Yes, Faizo. I mean, we have a very interesting, this is a story of every person in the art, particularly a young person like Abdul here. I mean, the story of Abdul is a story of many people out there. Yeah. It's just because somebody was able to get Abdul to come to this platform, we would never have known. I was telling you a few weeks ago, I interacted with Abdul. My friend GNL was doing his shop and meet and greet with the people. So we were in Muyenga, and
that's a piece of
GNL, a mural of GNL.
The new GNL.
Yes, painted in Kawempe. So we're in Muyenga, and then somebody brought him to basically showcase the work, and GNL was very busy, but somebody squeezed and squeezed to make sure Abdul come. When the young man came, what really turned out to be very fascinating, he had a tablet with a video of him painting GNL and how the mural will look like when it's finished and where it's going to be. And all he wanted was to present. Then he presented also another art piece to GNL, a picture, a portrait of GNL, painted.
That was art drawing.
Yes, a picture drawing of GNL. Yeah. And GNL was very emotionally attached. This is nice. He took him back to the whole days of hustling as a boy from Kawempe to making it. So I could see that GNL was, reconnected to his roots of saying, this boy, what he's giving to me right now is a story of where I was many years ago. Yes, I went through, I was able to pull through, now I'm here. He had to go and see him. A day after that, I think over the weekend in Kampala, GNL had another stuff that was doing. So this time around, somebody really literally held his hand and brought him to me and say, Abdul, and he does this great work. And I had heard about a young boy in Kawempe, I'd seen him, but now it piqued my attention when he started talking about his story from Arua and the stuff he talked about. Then I said, this could be a story of so many people in creativity. Yeah. All right. And I realized that Abdul is limited to where his work can go. Who he can go to. It's about connection, who you know, and how you can expose your work. Faizo, you are into this space, and you've been promoting art for a while. And the boys we see there are his birthdays in Kawempe, and I suppose you had painted that. So what's that art piece about before I ask Faizo the question?
That work was about COVID. As you see in that girl, she was crying. You understand? So even you're seeing a man here is coughing, then in the middle you're seeing the hands with the chain. So the hands with the chain, I talked about our whole world, not only Uganda. So as you saw, like people are dying a lot in China, UK, Japan, you understand? So even I wrote some words like stay safe, wear your mask, you understand? So that everyone can pass and read, and than just making art piece, you understand? So for me, what I do, what we did, we just wrote some small words there. Then we made the globe behind, showing every country is like dying of COVID. Yeah.
Okay, Faizo, you've heard this story. How do we then you're in the space of promoting art? And of course, Bayimba is big. Bayimba has given so many people a platform to go out there. Some artists would never have made it to the world platform if Bayimba did not go through this. But this was all because Faizo went through a very hard time, defined himself, created Bayimba, which is now employing as many people as possible. But if Faizo was like Abdul saying, I don't know how to get from Chivuli to to Netherlands, to the US and to France, there's no way out. Bayimba would have gotten there. How would you? What advice would you offer to Abdul right now, and how would you help Abdul to move from point A to point B as an elder in this business?
We've talked through some of the things, and what I see is that of course, graffiti is very challenging to sell. Yeah. It's not a common art form that you can find in everyone's interest. Yeah. And it's also very, it has always been branded as a rebel art form. Yeah. You find people always, complaining about their buildings being sprayed with cans. Yeah. And in Europe, it's illegal in some countries. And that's why because it's an art form that is appreciated because of the message, the strong message it brings, and the color. That's why some countries and cities had to decide on where, or designate certain areas where graffiti is allowed. Like in Berlin, there is the Berlin Wall. Every year they bring new artists to paint. There are some masterpieces that are not removed, but you can walk it for kilometers. One wall with all sorts of graffiti paintings. And they invite big artists. I talked about the Antwerp. I talked about in Nairobi. There are festivals of graffiti. So I think what needs to be done, for Abdul Fattah, is really to kind of think around how do you promote your work beyond where you're doing it in Kawempe. And of course, it can be challenging to be, also scary to say, how can I go and just find someone's building and just paint it? Yeah, but that's the spirit of graffiti. You can have that aspect of you, or you stick to community graffiti where you only work with topics that are about your community and that you know that you're comfortable, and in a space that you know that you're working in within. But I like your approach of it's not only that work that you're doing, you're looking at, but you also go out and try to sell your work to other people and try to collaborate. I think, for me, I really think you can grow as an artist, and I think you can also expound on your skill as a graffiti artist, but you just need to invest in yourself more. As much as you're struggling and trying to make ends meet, you can also try to stick out what are other graffiti artists doing, who is trending, what are they working on, and how can I get to that level? Where can I sell my work? Or where can I present yourself? You apply to festivals, you apply to graffiti programs, you try to get out of this comfort zone. I'm not saying it's your comfort zone, but get out of this community and take your work out. And then later on you realize that actually it will give you much more impact with the work that you've done in the community.
And seek for opportunities to land as much as possible, and look for people like Faizo. Now you've met Faizo, you can write to Faizo and say, I want to join one of the programs at Bayimba, to land. And then, more education you have, more exposure you have. So those are the opportunities you have to get your work outside there. Yeah. Now, Faizo and Abdul, we're going to hold it right here for a moment and go for another break, a coffee break. This is the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okela. Faizo Chiwewa, Abdul Fattah of Abdul at UG, based in Kawempe, contemporary artist, and of course the graffiti artist and art educator out of Kawempe division, a suburb of Kampala City. Inspiring live there on the program today. And this program is all about exposing Abdul and his work, and of course talking about how skill is developed in community and how it can be exported away. Stay right there, I'll be right back after this break, but share it far and wide. Welcome back from that break. This is the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okila, live here on House of Talent Television. Please catch up with this program and share it far and wide. It's a conceptually grounded program that looks at the contemporary art and, of course, the art in general. We're looking at the creative industry in general. Creativity lives and sleeps in our bed. And it lives in our sitting room, it lives in our cars, it lives in our industries. You know, you meet people who are building, are all creative, engineers are creative people.
Sometimes in the kitchen. Also.
Yeah, sometimes in the kitchen, Faizo said. But gentlemen, welcome back to the program. And before we went for the Faizo, you're offering some advice to Abdul on how he can get his work out there. And this program today is all about getting Abdul to understand how he can get his work out there and what he can do. He's a contemporary street artist. Just to remind you, he's a graffiti artist, and you've seen his work out there. And of course, he's an art educator. We're going to go to that part of being an art educator. First of all, Abdul, this comes to you.
Yeah.
What does an art educator do?
Art educators
Yes.
do like I go in the community, get some people. We goes like we start. I start teaching them art, and my art speaks in the community. I go there, then like, I start painting. Stop doing this, do this. You understand? That's the only thing I do. In the community, teaching the young children.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay, so we're going to run through some of the pictures right there. So what was the inspiration behind that, and how were you teaching using that?
The inspiration that it is an elephant, you understand? There are those who love elephants in the community. There are those who like those patterns in the community. You understand? So if someone finds me painting such an art piece like that, it can be inspired by like, can you teach me that work? I just say yes, I can. Or we can talk about the income or the way how he can
make money.
Yeah, that's it. So
I like this one.
that what it is.
We know why Faizo like this one.
Yeah.
Into the music promotion.
No,
Yes, tell us more.
That what that is it is in 3D art. You understand? So it is short media. They called me to come and do such the kind of art. The word it is.
That's in the
gang.
studio.
Yeah,
That's
the
the
studio.
studio.
Yeah, it's the
That's the
studio.
studio.
Yeah, that's all media, the studio. So the word is the gang, but it is in the abstract way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we call abstract art. not so, Faizo?
Yeah, but
3D
3D abstract.
Yes,
Yeah, there are two walls. You understand?
Yes.
Maybe you can see that corner
Yes, yes.
right there.
Yeah.
So I just made a sketch. You understand? As you're seeing that gi is touching the other side and gi. You understand?
Yes, yes, yes.
They're all gis, yeah?
Yes.
There is one on the left and one on the right.
The light, okay.
Yes.
Okay, good stuff. Let's go to the next one.
I thought salt is very religious.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
it's not.
yes,
Sorry.
I'm assuming that yes.
So that work was it was my first time to make that work. That was in 2019. So that work, as you see that lady, she's from Rwanda. She's a Rwandan. So I made that work showing her the love. The love we have. All love, we are giving everyone love. As you see, is smiling. As you see, the seated down, the tax. So I made that work show the country that we are free. Oh, Kampala is okay. You understand?
Yeah. So as an
All
art
of us were
educator,
happy.
what did you want us to learn from? What did you want?
As you're seeing, the lady
people to
smiling. So
Yeah.
you have to talk with everyone, smiling. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, not just abusing, doing what.
Okay.
So that one,
like
it has
I like
it's
the
at
piece.
Wandegia
Yeah.
near Kakande's church.
Okay.
So it was teaching about people how to wear their mask. You know, everywhere they go, you have to put the mask.
Okay.
Understand?
So that's
you
the
see
work.
the words there, stay safe. So everyone used to put the mask. So after seeing that work,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we're talking to Abdul Fattah from Abdul Art, and of course Faisal.
Yeah.
You know, but first, before I go to you, I want to go back to Abdul. So, how much do art educators make? Like
Actually,
yes. How much do you make?
Approximately, the size depends. The size. If someone wants a portrait, like that of art pencil drawing, a free, it can cost you 360.
Okay. Yeah,
you understand. And the A2, that's 250. Then there is A1. It's big. The flame is big.
Yeah.
That will cost you 500, 700. So for the wall, it also depends. For me, what I can do, I just come and see how the space looks, and you have to show me the picture and see, so that I can tell you the price. But the price which I can charge you, it depends. If the wall is small, I can charge you, or I will charge you 1M, 800. You understand? But it will depends on the picture, how it looks. You understand? So for 3D art is kind of expensive because I take my time to design that work, and the work, as you say, it is 3D, it is unique. You understand?
So when you say it's kind of expensive,
yeah,
Faisal and I want to know what is this, because the people who are watching the show would want to know how to support you. So this is a way that you get people to support you. So kind of expensive. How much is 3D? We know that 3D work all over is expensive, Faisal. But yes,
approximately 2M, 1.5.
Okay, for around, 3D work.
Yeah, for a 3D work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Then for paintings, painting on the canvas, it also depends the size, but the start is at 600, 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Faisal, Abdul is not starting from a very bad place. He has learned his lesson the hard way. He's not charging 50,000 and then he goes and borrows money to buy the paint to put the thing there. He's getting there. Faisal. You've heard from Abdul. I want to just dive to you quickly. 2 questions. Where do art educators really work?
I mean, as Abdul has said, in communities. But not only in communities. Of course, we are professional art educators. I think Abdul and I come from this self-made, self-educated, passionate, you know, community concerned citizens that we find ourselves in places where we say, let's give our contribution to this community. And I don't think we put a price to that. I don't think someone can, if I am doing professional work, I charge $350 a day. If I am going to go to the community, I won't do that because you're trying to share your time and your skill with the community. So art educators really look out. It has been branded. It has been a kind of a socially public good branded title. If you're an art educator, then you work for a community. That's a free service. But if you are an art educator and need to earn a living, then you have to be a professional art educator where you have a curriculum, a program that you're offering to a paying audience. So this for me that what it is.
Okay. And Faisal, I mean, you've been of course traveling quite a bit. You are a resident panelist in the program. You're more exposed, and Abdul is speaking a lot from you. What is an art teacher called? World over. Because for this kind of art that we're talking about,
teacher is teacher. I mean, you can be a teacher but not teaching art, but you're a teacher. Like I have a friend of mine called Greg Mwenda from Nairobi. We call him Mwalimu, teacher, even if he doesn't teach a class. But because he's very much about sharing knowledge, sharing skill, I think Babaluku is a teacher. Because you find
he's a philosopher.
He's a teacher. Sensen is a teacher. There are people who you don't need to be in a class to teach. I teach a lot, and I don't call myself a teacher, but I think I am a teacher as well. As I find a lot of fulfillment when I share my knowledge and skill and my experience with the young people and young creatives. So. And a teacher is really someone who has an idea of what they are working in, but also understanding it and being diverse, because sometimes you might find someone who is in a specific discipline, and that's all they can explain to you. But finding someone who is more multifunctional in their skill of teaching, it's very, very useful for a teacher to know where the process starts and where it goes, just like my friend Peter said.
Yes. Process by process. Yes. All right. Abdul, and we want to just go back to you slightly, and before we wind up the show. Today, this part of the program today was talking about skilling the community, and we can see that you've been skilling the community. But first, we want to know from you. So, how has this process been going, and how have people received this? And are you seeing their life changing? And if yes, which part of their life is changing that is giving you, happiness? That even though you go and put your money and time, like Faisal said, in the community, life is changing. Sometimes we're doing things in the community and people remain the same, and you get frustrated. They're not moving. Like you have to move. While you move up to now charging 300, 400, there must be another artist you're training who coming from a community who is charging 50,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 to 100,000, so that those who cannot afford 300,000 in the community, like these small people who have, people who have small shops and want to put a sign for their shop, to communicate with them, there should be somebody you are training that produce work that fits within their bill or within their budget. Do you see that happening? Can you share that with us very quickly?
Actually, for me, what I can do, I can help. You understand? As we said, that how people get into my heart or my style. I have a lot of people, but they come and join me of what I'm doing. You understand? In the community, so people appreciate. Though they can't give me money, but they appreciate. You understand? They give me their childrens to come and join me, so that I teach them. If I get work, I go in the community, then I share the work with the guys.
So do these people, when they come to you, when parents send these children to you and you train them, do you actually see them doing this work? And when you see them doing how do you feel like?
Actually, I feel good because there is a girl called Diana. Now she's doing great work. You understand? So if I get work, if I am having more work, I share to her to do and to finish everything. But even this over world branding, I can't do it lonely. You understand? So they can give me, they can say, Abdul, we're gonna do here in Kampala. You understand? So I go in the community, I call my guys, then you come and go, we go and work. So we go and finish everything in time. You understand? Maybe it's like a building, we can do it 2 days. You understand? But with my friends, with the community guys,
Faisal, skill development in our community, from an art creator now, title that you hold. We need to continue developing the skill in our communities, in our cities, in our nation going forward. And I want you to share with us, from your experiences, you've been going quite a lot, traveling around the world and seeing these things in different countries. What would you share with us today that we can pick from your experiences where you've been going, that we can do down here at home and make it better in Africa, and which Abdul can pick, lessons from to go back and continue to impact the lives of people in these communities?
I think when as we said at the beginning, like we are, as a community of citizens, we always like to be inspired. And graffiti normally is about inspiration. You might say a piece of mask, a piece of but for example, for me, when I see most of the graffiti work, much of this work is conceptual, it's abstract. People don't understand it. But if we could start from the area where people understand, like for some of our icons, just imagine in Kawempe you have a beautiful graffiti wall of Geoffrey Riema, of Philip Bongole Utaya, of Paul Cafero, of Fred Sebata. All these, like Peterson.
I think he has one already there of
Peterson. But then, of course, great piece, great piece. But then
It's a recent thing. We need
Yeah.
something.
So we're looking at like how can we also start presenting work that is going to inspire our people, people that people need to remember. You know, like Peterson Mutebi, you know, like Mr. Segamwenge, all these people, the Byron Kawadwas. There are so many Ugandans that are very, very people are attached to. Just for example, like if GNL is emotionally attached to his graffiti wall mural, and then what is he going to do? He'll push it. He'll push his wall. So if Cliff Mutebi comes and sees his father's mural of Peterson Mutebi on the wall, he'll push it because he finds it that inspiration. And that's meaning that you're growing your community. You're not just skilling them with hands-on, but you're also empowering them to feel proud of who they are and who are their parents or their ancestors are. So I think we need to start looking at how do we celebrate our own? How do we celebrate? I like the Rwandan piece. And I know, because when he was explaining the love of the city, I know there has been conflict and tension between Rwanda and Uganda. It speaks volumes, but at the same time, it is detaching from the Ugandans. They're like, you know, how do we cultivate our own people to appreciate their own history? When you look at bigger cities, they always find those people that are very related or connecting to them. The conceptualization is also about, because there's someone saying that, no, I need to speak my mind, but you also need to connect to the community.
Thank you.
How does the community relate to this kind of work? This mural, which is at Alliancia, was done by a German team. But you find the way they were trying to create, you know, in its abstract, they also try to bring in the Ugandan aspect of it by having the crane in as part of the concept. So how do we connect our work to cultivate the love and the appreciation of our own communities, and also try to grow, make it as much better and much, you know, sophisticated in a way that it shows the maturity of your work, you know? So for me, this is what I'd like to say, that scaling is not only about giving people hands-on skills, but it's also cultivating their minds, inspiring them, making sure that you are exposing them, you're kind of challenging them to think differently, to attract a different mindset. Because honestly, here, for me, with my experience over the years, is like, it's very difficult to skill people. It's very difficult to contribute to someone's success. Because how do you measure that? How do you get into someone's mind to make sure that they appreciate the knowledge that you're giving them at a moment? But I think when you do, as you are helping, it helps to take a step forward. It helps people, because for me with Bayimba, where we started, as you know, and where we are now, I felt like I've done 15 years of, you know, doing things for people and investing in other people. Then I realized I'm not actually invested in Bayimba as an entity, except the brand. And then I said, okay, how do I continue to inspire people without losing the brand that I've built over the time? So I decided to invest in Bayimba, but at the same time helping people. So it gives someone to say that, okay, you've been here for 15 years, this is what you've done, you've worked with so many artists, where are you? I am going further, I'm going ahead, so that the next generation of entrepreneurs that are coming, they will also find that, okay, I can build myself, learn things within 10 years, but then I need to plan for the next 10 years. I think this is where we need to see that skilling people is not only just giving them something hands-on, but also developing them, inspiring them, but also making sure that you sustain yourself as an entity, so that you're able to continue and building onto your legacy.
All right, Abdul, your final parting shot. I think Faisal has done a very good, job in trying to summarize the skilling of the community while you do art in the community, what you need to do. If you look into this camera, and what will be your parting shot today, and what will be your lesson picked from here that you'd want everyone in Kawempe to know, and going forward, and how would you want them to find you?
Actually, I have learned more today. And what I'm gonna do going back in the community, as this guy told us here, so I have to teach them how we can take art forward and to empower them so that they can support others. And for those who want to find me, I stay in Kawempe, and everywhere, it's like everywhere I go, like one day I have more work there. maybe they can call me so that we can try out and do something better in Uganda. Yeah, I think that's be better for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Faisal, your parting shot today? What's the lesson do we need from you?
I'm very happy to meet with Abdul Fattah, and I think he's a very inspiring Kawempe guy, and also with being a Muslim. And I was actually very interested when he was talking about his coming from Arua. Then I realized that Kawempe is on the way to Bombo, so that's the route. That's the route. So he might have not, because that's the area. Yeah. And being a Muslim, I really love the religion and the inspiration. Yeah. But I also know the challenges of what it comes with. So coming out from this community and being able to, find yourself and try to invest in it, as well as trying to help yourself to grow individually, personally, and financially. It's really a very motivating thing. So we need to see more of these stories. We need to get more people from the different disciplines who are doing something for their communities and also trying to help them. So it was really nice to meet you, and I hope we'll work together sometime.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much, and thank you very much. First of all, Faisal, we have to share the love, and to Abdul, we have to share the love. And to all of you guys out there, thank you very much for keeping up with the Creative Industry Talk every single week, growing bigger and better. And to all the people in the diaspora, we want to say thank you. To all the people across the borders in Rwanda, in Kenya, in Burundi, in Tanzania, in the US, in Australia, and all of you guys, we want to say thank you very much. To all the brothers in Germany, thank you very much. We've been talking to Abdul Fattah Rashid of Abdul at Uganda. And of course, he's a contemporary artist. He's a graffiti artist and an educator, community educator, but a man who is very passionate about art and craft. And you can support him. You've heard of where he can be found. Please reach out to Kawempe, or find his phone numbers, or go to social media, check him out, and share this video far and wide. Faisal, of course, you already know him from Baimba, and of course, we hope that Baimba will come back with the festival in 2020.
Inshallah.
Right now, we don't know what is going on, but, but to everyone out there, we want to say thank you.
But we are hopeful. Yes. We are very hopeful.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. To stay hopeful is very important, and stay away from trouble. And to the camera crew here that makes things happy, thank you very much. To the production crew, thank you very much. And to all of you guys out there, share this far and wide. Until next week, Creative Industry Talk has come to an end. Edio Killer, Faisal Chiwewa, and Abdul Fattah Rashid signing out.
it's a CEO bench, so usually people want to assume that all CEOs are over-learned and stuff like that. So I will change the script this time round. I consider myself a certified hustler.
If I'm looking to know who you are you Ugandan? If yes, what are the values that define you as Ugandan?
That's the easiest question, I think, to answer. I am a typical Lao man from Erute North, in a place called Ogur, and where I will be laid to rest is in a village called Agweng. So if you go there and you just say Otoa Tony, they won't really know me because my father is also Otoa Tony. You have to ask for Junior, and when you're asking, you have to ask with an accent. Junior Tikwene, where is Junior? And they will identify me. But I'm typically Ugandan, only Ugandan, from Lira. I pride myself from being from Lira. Earlier on, I was joking and saying I'm the coolest Lango south of Karuma. When you cross Karuma, there are so many. But when you're down the south after Karuma, I think I'm number one.
Wow. Well, now that you know Tony Otoa is Ugandan, and of course, what are the values that define you as a Ugandan?
I think it's the love for country, love for nation. You know, truth be told, the country is in it's a crisis. Leadership crisis, economic crisis, social crisis. There's so many mismatching areas. But at the end of the day, it's home. You know, you cannot run and abandon your home because of the issues in your home. I think that then creates an opportunity for you to do something to change what's happening and what you see as a crisis. So in terms of what I see as a value, or what I take out of that for me, I think is just the love for country, the need to serve country the best way I can. And I mean, I can't say I can change everything, but the little I can do to create a difference, I think is more meaningful.
Wow. Mr. Tony Otoa, growing up, what did you want to be in life? And what was the journey like for Mr. Otoa?
Yeah, you know, my father is crazy. My father would call us and he would show me the compass. The idea was supposed to be a pilot. You know, the planes would fly over our house and my father would be like, yeah, you're going to be a pilot. But of course, as you grow, you realize that you have so many things that really define you. I was never a sportsman. So I enjoyed a lot of debate and, you know, a lot of indoor activities. And that is, I think, what really drove me into some of the things that I do up to today. Public speaking, the love for debates and really a lot of intellectual discourse and all this stuff. But besides that, I think it's also the fact that I won't lie. I didn't know what I wanted to be.
Welcome to this edition of the Coffee Break. This is House of Talent and my name is Atengi Emmanuel. Remember, this is the show that we get to talk all about coffee, what's happening in the coffee business, different elements about coffee. And back in the studio today is someone we all love, someone we've taken a long time without seeing. I love saying it, the coffee messiah is back. It's like the second coming of Jesus. So the coffee messiah has come back. Amon, welcome back to the show.
Well, it's nice to be here again.
Yeah, it's good to see you. You've actually been gone for a while. I don't know, were you like out converting people, you know, bringing people more into the coffee side?
Well, I've been trying to make ends meet and yeah, happy, healthy, so it's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. I hope your ends have met.
Yeah, they have, definitely they have met.
Well, to complement the Coffee Messiah, we have someone else in the studio, the first female guest we ever had on this show. And at the beginning of the show, she told me that since we have a Coffee Messiah, we should have a coffee goddess. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Swabra Banks, to the show. Swabra, you're very welcome to the Coffee Break show. I know like a lot of people out there, whenever you tell them your name is Swabra Banks, okay? The Banks part is not a Ugandan name, totally not, okay? So how did you end up with that name?
That's a name that was given to me by a sister of mine, actually, because she used to believe in me and she was like, you're going to get a lot of money. Yeah, so she gave me the name Banks. Yeah.
So have you reached that point where you have that a lot of money?
Yes, I thank God, yes.
All right, so probably after this we're going to the bank with Swabra Banks. Yeah, but that's interesting. Welcome to the show. We just want to start off with basically your profile. Who is Swabra Banks? Who is I'm a barista? You know, where did you grow up, and how did you end up into the coffee business?
Okay, so Swabra Banks is a barista. Yeah. I grew up in Entebbe Road, Ndege, and I went to Mutesa, One-Way University. I was doing mass comm. And then how I ended up into coffee, it was through a friend of mine who is now like a brother to me. He pitched this coffee thing to me. Of course, I didn't have interest in coffee, and I had to go and enroll in the academy. And then as I was doing the coffee course, I fell in love with the coffee.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah. So you talked about, you know, in Mutesa One, you actually did a course in mass communication. Yes. So growing up as a child, what did you want to be? You know, people always want to be a lawyer, some want to be a pilot. I had some kids say they wanted to be a taxi conductor because they hold a lot of money. So growing up, what did you think you would be in the future?
I wanted to be an actress, actually, because I loved movies ever since I was a young girl. And I think I love the camera from day one. That's why I went to
So are there any hopes of you getting into the movie industry in Uganda?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I'm now taken by the coffee industry.
Well, that's very interesting. Amon, to hear from you. I also know that, you know, growing up you wanted to be something. You know, what did you want to be when you were a kid growing up? I know there was nothing like a barista in your mind. I don't even think you knew about coffee at that time. So, from my perspective, I think you wanted to grow up and be a model, but you can correct me on that.
Why would you choose a model? Well, me from, I wanted to be a journalist.
Okay.
I think I realized that in my basics. We had a teacher who was doing journalism at the same time teaching us SST. So this guy was like a lifestyle guy. He used to be a very, very, very inspiring guy. So I liked him from the start. So I'm like, okay, I want to be a journalist. So that's how I picked a dream of becoming. And at least I'm trying to achieve that, you know, because right now, if I'm doing mass comm, at the same time, this we're doing coffees, so I'm still on the track. I'm not like Swabra who's already taken by coffee.
You know, the most amazing thing is that actually all the three of us here have done mass comm at a certain level. Okay, and
so we have one thing in common.
Yes, we have something in common at least. The other thing we have in common is that, you know, we all passionate about coffee, which is a very good thing. So, Swabra, you told us that a friend of yours, who's now like your brother, introduced you to the coffee industry. So I know that when someone introduces you, there is always a pitch they give you.
Yeah.
It's like if I want someone, let's say the Coffee Messiah always goes out to convert people, and he has to give a pitch of why should I join the coffee business instead of actually starting a boutique, okay? Which one would make more sense? So what were some of those things that he told you about the coffee business that actually pulled you into it?
Actually, the most interesting part about it was he also didn't know anything about coffee. he wasn't a barista by then. He just told me, you have to do this course and then come to Dubai and make a lot of money, because you know, the coffee business, there is money. So I also went into it to study, to go and get money. But along the way, of course, I fell in love and I decided to stay in Uganda.
All right, so you talked about Dubai. Most of the people we've had on the show have had some experience with the Middle East. We had a guy who worked in Kuwait as a barista. So moving from Uganda to Dubai, did you go and work as a barista, or you went and got involved, you know, into other businesses?
I went to Dubai way back. I think that was around, it was around 2014, but it wasn't coffee. Yeah, I knew coffee after I came back to Uganda. Yeah, because he was like, now that you're back for your vacation, you should do something different and then come back as someone new. Yes, that's when I went into the coffee industry.
Amon, I remember last time we were talking about you not wanting to go out of the country, you know, to become a barista. And I don't know if your mind has changed since then, yeah. But like most of our baristas go to Dubai, they go to UAE, yeah. I really haven't heard of any barista who has gone maybe to America, maybe to Europe. Is it easier as a barista to go from Uganda to the UAE than it is to go maybe to Europe or to America?
Well, guys do go in the UK, in the US. Guys do go, but only that these people go in the line of maybe doing hotels, not coffee shops. Because it's because someone is easy to access that side, and whoever goes that side, now there's a lot of connection that side, so people get to know that, okay, Emma went to UAE. But when someone goes maybe to UK, it will be hard for someone to know, because maybe like it's a family or a family friend who gets to know that, you know what, Emma went to UK. But people do go that side, and they make a lot of money.
That's very interesting. Still talk about Dubai. I know there are very many differences basically between Dubai and Uganda, okay? And going there, I believe there was that cultural change. So how were you able to deal with the culture change? Because I know that Uganda is more of a freestyle kind of place, and Dubai is really a strict place, especially when it comes to ladies. So how were you able to manage the culture change from Uganda then to Dubai?
It was really tough. It was tough for the first months. I think the first 2 months, and then of course the fact that I went to Dubai as you know, like looking for a job and all that. There are also other people who come to Dubai that are not from that country. So that kind of gave me a sense that I'm not alone in this. So of course you have to make friends. You have to learn the language, because learning the language is the most important thing to do. So I caught up with the situation.
Okay, so did you learn the language?
Yes, of course.
Okay, that's very interesting. So
I like the language.
If I went to Dubai and wanted to order a cup of coffee, okay, how would I say that in Arabic?
I don't remember.
So basically you learned a few things, like maybe greeting,
yes.
You know?
I used to know all of it actually, but it's been a while. I don't remember all of it.
Because in most cases, when you learn a language, what you get to know is how you greet, and everything's like to keep you running in case you get lost. It's like those guys who come to Uganda. What they need to know is Mwasuze Mutia, Olibulunji, something like that. But they can't go beyond that.
I like how you say that, Olibulunji.
Because that's how they say it. That's how they say it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I also believe that dealing with people, basically when you're a barista, or at that time you're a waitress, okay? You have to deal with people, okay? And customers are really different. You'll find a customer who's really nice and sweet. Then there are those who are backing orders at you. You know, there are those that you can't deal with. So did you ever find yourself in a situation whereby you were presented with a customer who was really harsh, okay? And how did you deal with that situation?
The first thing these people do is to train you, customer care, how to handle clients, because of course they also know how clients behave. So you start up with everything like the day when you know what's coming. Yes, because you're in a country that is not yours. So every time you could get maybe a harsh client, you could know how to handle. You just be polite and apologize, and then you get the order and then you move on.
Okay, interesting. To Amon, I know that in Uganda there are certain places that I've gone to and there's totally no customer care. You enter a restaurant, you order for something. First of all, I believe that when you go to a restaurant or to a coffee shop, okay, someone is supposed to come and attend to you, all right? But there are some places that in Uganda you go to a hotel, you go to a coffee shop, and you really have to call the waiter or call the waitress to get served, okay? Amon, how has been your experience in Uganda in relation to customer care, especially where you work? Are we up to the mark of good customer care, or we still need a lot of help in that part?
Well, to be honest, in Uganda we still have the poorest customer care. Because in most cases, these guys who are in customer care or customer service, most of them are either in school and they're just doing the job for the sake of doing the job, but they are professional customer care attendants. These guys have studied this. They have gone to like a room and studied this. They have gotten training, so they know how to handle a person. But in Uganda, it's really, really hard to find a very, very good customer care. For a case of where I have been in a few places, I haven't had that bad experience with customer care because I've went to a coffee shop and I've received instant care, instant customer service, and it's been a nice experience. So I haven't received that bad service.
All right. According to me, I think that just like you said, we really haven't reached the mark. We still need a lot of help when it comes to the customer care industry. And I believe that most of the time, you know, you just get a job and there's really not much training put into it. You just start working and you don't know how to deal with people. I believe that the most important part when it comes to such a service industry is not even the coffee you're brewing or it's not the food that you're giving. It's basically how you treat the customers, okay? That's what keeps them coming back, okay? So Abra, before we go for a break, basically how we got to you was that you were blowing up on social media, okay? A little bird told us that there's a certain barista that is now blowing up on social media, okay? And it really caught our attention. We're like, oh, okay. You know, baristas are actually getting out there, you know, the coffee business is starting to grow. So before we go for a break, I just want you to tell the viewers out there, okay, who are you on social media? What is your name on social media? Are you Swabra Banks? Are you someone else on social media? Because sometimes people have aliases, you know, I'm one on Facebook, I'm one person, then on Instagram I'm another person. So before I go into a break, just tell the people who you are on social media.
On social media, I am a barista.
Okay.
Yes.
That's both on all your social media
all my
platforms?
social media platforms, yes.
Okay. Yeah, please.
That is Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Okay. We're going to get into a break right now. In the studio, we have Amon Mukisa, the coffee messiah, and we also have Swabra Banks, the coffee goddess, and me, the coffee human, Ateng Emmanuel. We'll take a break right now, and when we get back, we're going to talk more about how you can brand yourself in the coffee business. Stay right there. This is House of Talent Television. Welcome back to House of Talent. This is the Coffee Break Show where we get to talk everything about coffee. And in the studio with me, I have Amon, the Coffee Messiah, and Swabra Banks, the Coffee Goddess. And basically, we've been talking about her life. Where did she start from, and how did she end up in the coffee business? We also had Amon telling us about his experience and what he wanted to be, you know, when he grew up. He said he wanted to be, you know, a journalist, okay, which I believe that you're studying, okay. You got me wrong. I thought you wanted to be a model, but here we are.
Why did you think I wanted to be a model?
Maybe you look like one.
Yes. I mean, when someone looks at him, you know, you can see the well-kept beard, the well-kept hair, the nice shirt. I think it's something that you really need to look into.
Maybe I should.
Yes, you should. Okay. At least we'll say we know someone famous. Yeah, but like I said before, we went into a break. We're just getting into basically branding in the coffee business. Okay. Before I saw your profile on Instagram, I really hadn't seen any other barista who would put themselves out there. You know, it's like being a barista is only what you do when you're at your coffee shop or when you're at your place of employment. Okay, it's not like how you have all these social media influencers, you know, always putting out their videos, you know, tweeting on Instagram. I really haven't had anything from a barista. Okay, and it's good to have someone with experience. Okay, we just want to know, how do I start? If I was a layman, I've gone to, you know, barista school, I'm a barista. Where would I start when it comes to branding myself as a barista?
I think the first thing you have to do is get the passion.
Okay.
Yes, because you can do everything, but as long as you don't have the passion for it, you're not going to make people love it. Okay. So at the end of the day, you have to fall in love with it first, and then do some research. Don't be in the comfort zone. You have to do some research, know more about the industry, be down to earth. You don't have to show off and all that. And have content. You should have content. Always have content. People love to see what is unique about the industry. What is she doing other people are not doing? How come she's doing this and other people are not doing it? Let me follow her. Let me try to do as she's also doing. So at the end of the day, you make people love what you're doing. If you also love what you're doing.
Yeah, so basically the first thing you're saying is have a plan.
Yes.
Okay? Sit down with yourself and say, you know what, this is what I want to achieve.
Yes.
Okay, these are the steps to it. All right, so I have a plan. This is what I want to do. Okay, but I'm not yet out there on social media.
Yeah.
One of the first things when you're basically picking a name, when you're picking social media platforms or what you're going to be on social media, is picking a name.
Yes.
Okay? The name, I believe, has to stand out.
Yes.
And the name has to be catchable, something that will stay.
Yes.
All right, so you use I am a barista. Okay, how did you come up with this name? I believe that there were countless other names. You'd have just used Swabra Banks. I believe that in itself is a very good name. So how did you end up with I am a barista?
I'm one person who is very proud about being a barista. So the name just came up because I'm proud of being a barista. And, you know, people used to call me Banks, Banks, Banks. And I wanted to stop that, to stop people to call me Banks. And maybe start calling me barista. So I wanted to send a message out there that I am a barista. Yes, I'm not a barista.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Amon, when it comes to branding, okay, what would be the first step in your regard, in your perspective?
Well, when it comes to branding, I think it's the cause and the value you stand for, because branding involves personalization or personality. Then it involves this other side we're putting out. Because I try to ask myself, why are we not having baristas taken as ambassadors of certain things? For example, we're having different artists come out and they're ambassadors of tourism, and yet coffee is a very, very key major factor in maybe tourism. Why don't we have these baristas come out and they're like, you know what, Swabra Banks is the ambassador of tourism in terms of coffee, you know, she's going to influence coffee growing in a park or in Gulu. So why don't we have that? I think, like as Swabra is saying, you need to know why you're doing something, and you need to come out of the cage and start doing that. Because if we have various baristas have traits of branding themselves, for example, if I am a barista and I know, okay, I want to go beyond being the station, you know, I want to be out there. I want to show that I'm a proud barista and I can do whatever it takes to be that good person who can be approached and they give me business and I want to influence for a certain cause, you know?
Yeah.
So that would be a good thing. So like Sobra is saying, I just want to know how she came out with the name I am a barista, because it's really working. Because yes,
thank you.
Someone asks you, who are you? I am a barista. So how did you come out with that?
As I've said before, I'm proud to be a barista, and I am a barista. It's not special. It's just that I wanted to send a message to people that I'm a barista now, and I'm proud to be one. That's how I came up with the name, just like that. I am a barista.
Have you been approached by different companies to like do business with you because of I am a barista?
Yes, because everyone is like, what does barista mean? And then they have to look it up, and then they're like, oh, it means someone who does this and this and this. Because a barista is something huge. A barista doesn't just make coffee. No, we make a lot of things. You know that we make juice, we make ice things, and all that. Yeah, so being a barista is something that really makes people want to know who a barista is, not just Swabra Banks, because someone will be like, oh, Swabra Banks and I see coffee, or maybe she's in the coffee business.
Now, Emma, you see, like, she's speaking about being a barista. Most of us didn't know that a barista does coffee, does juices, does cocktails, various beverages. Yeah. So at least if we brand ourselves as baristas, we get to put our image out there, and we'll get some business coming through.
Yeah, I remember someone telling me that the first time he had the word barista, he thought it was
a lawyer.
A lawyer.
yeah, because you know, let me tell you something. I was having a conversation with now his spokesperson of NUP, Joe Senyon. Yeah. So the first time I met him, he asked me, "What do you do?" Because it was after my senior six. I'm like, I'm a barista. Wait. I'm studying to be a barista. For you already a barista.
Yeah, so most times people actually get it confused. We still haven't reached that place in Uganda where we know what a barista is. We can't really put the line between a barista of law and a barista as someone who does coffee. So I have my plan, picked out my super cool name. All right, I'm ready to go on social media. Okay. What is that brand identity? Every time I look at Swabra Banks' account, every time I look at Amon's account, what are some of those messages that you want me to get without you ever talking to me? There are some social media handles of different people that you see, okay, and you just get certain keywords immediately, like this one is friendly, this one is really nice. What are some of those words that come to someone when they log onto your Instagram page?
In most cases, when I'm posting something on my Instagram, I make sure I'm sending out a message. It doesn't have to be coffee specifically. It can be something else. Yeah. So I always want to show people that a barista is not just making the latte art and all that. Yeah. It comes right from the garden to the cup. Yeah. So in most cases, when I'm posting something on social media, I make sure I communicate through my posts or my pictures or my anything that a barista does this and this and this. It's not just coffee. Yeah. It's a lot of things. Yeah. So when someone looks onto my page, it's like, oh, even a barista does this. Oh, even a barista does this. Yeah. Yes, that's what I look at when I'm posting anything.
So I actually love that perspective, showing people that you don't have to be boxed up in only one thing.
Yes.
I'm a barista, but I can actually do other cool things. Yeah. So I remember I think it was last week when I met you at Enduro. I saw you basically interacting with one of your customers. Okay, and it was a good thing to see, because that interpersonal relationship you have between a barista and a customer is a very important thing. Okay, so what are some of those qualities that your customers have told you that you have? Some of the things that they have complimented you about that actually identify you as Amon Bukisa, the barista.
Me as a person?
Yes.
Well, I think most of them have complimented about the communication skills, because it all goes down to the communication skills. Those simple communication skills. Most people tend to think it's just a thing, but it's a very, very, very crucial thing. Because just imagine someone is talking to you, but you're not paying attention to them. For example, I'm speaking to Swabra, but I'm looking at you. that's already a turn off.
Yeah.
Someone needs attention, needs to be shown that, okay, I'm talking to you, you know, I'm attending to you. So if you're attending to a client or having a conversation, because sometimes you can't be busy on a station. She's a trainer right here.
Yeah.
I don't know why she trains her students, for example, to handle a busy station. But just imagine now I have a busy station and a certain Edwin comes on station and is like, okay, he wants to have that conversation.
Yeah.
How are you going to handle that, Edwin? To show him that, you know what, Edwin, I'm busy, you know, but let's talk after having this whole mess worked out, you know. So that's what keeps you going, or keeps a brand of a barista, compared to someone who's going to just come, okay, I'm busy, and just comes out and say, oh, why Edwin? Don't I want to be busy in Vaco? You know, something like that. So it's a way how you interact, or how you communicate with this person that keeps you in that same state they see it. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's not just about, you know, like I used to think before, you know, I knew about the whole barista thing. I used to think being a barista is basically just pouring coffee for someone.
It's called, you know, the word is a barista, which means it comes from the bar, then barista, you know. So which means it's a bar. Someone can access that bar, you know. So if someone accesses that bar, you don't have a right to chase them away. That's because it's a bar.
So you have to go basically above and beyond what you do. It's not just about giving them the coffee. You have to create some sort of relationship.
It actually means a bartender who is a star. That's what it means.
Maybe Emma, I just want to know from Swabra, what are you using as your brand to add value on the coffee industry? Is it just Swabra, oh, I am a barista, just for the sake of social media? But how are you using I am Swabra as a brand to add value on the coffee industry, and how are you doing that?
First of all, I'm doing that through my trainings. I make sure I give the real content, the genuine content, and then quality. A lot of people are in the business, but they don't, you know, give quality out there. They prefer getting a lot of money without even putting in. So to me, it goes back to quality. You have to make sure you give people quality, both the knowledge part of it and the, you know, the coffee part of it. Yeah, quality.
Okay. Before we get into another break, okay, I know that, okay, now we have the plan, we have the name. Basically, now I want people to know that, you know what, let's say I'm Emmanuel, I'm a coffee human, because I have a goddess and a messiah here.
No, now you're a coffee genius.
You know, so these are the different words. I want people to know I'm friendly. I want people to know that I'm not only a barista, there's basically other things that I do, okay? How do you go about creating your content? Because I believe that that is the most important thing when it comes down to social media. You have to create content that is basically engaging and content that will keep people coming back. You know, so before we go for a break, how do you as Swabra Banks, you know, sit down and create your content that will capture the attention of other people?
Research, through research. I do a lot of research actually. All the time I'm on my phone doing research. Research comes through in a lot of ways. First of all, you have to show people that we have competitions. You know, baristas have competitions. It's not just about other people. So there are a lot of interesting parts in our coffee industry that people don't know yet. People don't even know you have competitions here in Uganda.
Yet I was actually about to say we should start one, but now
we
that
do.
You said there
Yes, we do. I actually tried to compete. I think that was 2020, but the COVID thing came up and everything was stopped. So you have to do a lot of research and make people, first of all, love the industry. You have to know what people like. Not just putting things on social media and all that. No, you have to know what's trending, what should I post, how should I put it out there, and you have to follow a lot of baristas to know what's going on.
So you just don't come out there and, you know, throw something on social media without a plan.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now, and we'll still be talking to Swabra. We also want to know how Amon comes up with his content, because I know he's not only a barista, there's a lot of other things you actually do. So I want to know how he comes up with his content, and we'll also be brewing coffee. Everyone who comes on the show has to brew for us a good cup of coffee. So we're basically rating up to now who has given us the best cup of coffee. We'll be doing that after the break. This is the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television.
There's a particular segment of fans and basketball enthusiasts who have actually put the entire blame onto the federation.
So for me, it was actually a setup for the girls. Fuba set them up, and just throwing in the shark in the deep end with the sharks. That was the
not just throwing in the deep end, but throwing in the deep end with sharks.
And you can't swim.
But they expect you to get to the other end of the pool. That is a discussion that actually very many fans of Slam Dunk Basketball Talk are willing to listen to and want to know.
Yeah, so we'll
if the senior gazelles were not able to get a sponsor, then the junior teams were able to get 3 sponsors.
Enough sponsorship.
KCCA, Stanbic Bank, the Parliament of Uganda, were on board.
So going back to that, why I would bash the federation, okay, not bashing the federation as such, that is a very, that's a heavy word.
Enormous.
You can't cancel something, then you tell people 4 days to the tournament that you need to start practicing, which is a thing that Uganda always does when it comes to the federation. I mean, I think later on we'll be discussing why the national team itself that is going for AfroBasket hasn't really prepared for AfroBasket.
That will be a discussion later in the show.
Yes, later in the show.
Young people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand. Yes. Remember Prince? Yes. Prince.
Welcome back to the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. My name is Ateng Emmanuel, and remember, you can catch us on our social media handles at House of Talent Television. That's on our Twitter and on our Facebook. The show will be airing there. You can also catch us on our website, which is houseoftalentug.com. Don't miss the show. If there's someone out there, if you know a barista, someone who's involved in the coffee business and they're not watching the show right now, give them a call and let them know we are on. Before we went into the break, we're basically talking to the Coffee Goddess and the Coffee Messiah about how they come up with content. And Swabra told us, she sits down and she has to do research on how to, get very good content and put it out there. Content that is basically engaging and content that will keep people glued to, your social media. Amon, I know that you're not only a barista, you're also a YouTuber. Okay, so how do you go about getting content for your YouTube channel?
Well, one thing I have to say is, first, you just have to know what you want to put out there. Right. And you as a person, what are your values? Because you won't do something that doesn't follow under your values. Yeah. And what's the cause? I just doing content just for the case of doing content. That's why when you start like doing such type of content, you end up losing it. But when you have that cause, you're like, okay, my cause is vegetation or growing trees. What am I going to do to make sure that we have a larger number of villagers? Okay, that might sound rude. A larger number of people in villages, grow more trees, you know? So you start like planning that. So that's how you come up with your content.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So I've come up with content, I'm out there now, and I know that there are certain people, influencers, musicians, different people on social media who are not easily accessible. Okay, I believe that one of the things you have to be as an influencer is be accessible to people, because people want to interact with you, they want to ask you different types of questions, and there's this whole thing of these days that, sliding into someone's DM, which has become, when you say, I sent a DM to someone, they demonize you, they look at you like, So I just wanted to ask Swabra, how approachable are you on social media? Are you that kind of person? Let's say if I ask a question, I send you a message, do you get back in time, or do you even get back at all? Or it's just, social media, what you see is what you get, and that's the end of it. So how do you go about, talking to people on social media?
I do get back, though not that quickly. I do get back to people and of course interact with them. Some come with questions and you have to answer them, like make them fall in love with the industry, and they end up saying, oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know actually you people are, of recent, a friend of mine even told me, I didn't know baristas get certified. After I told him that, we go to the academies and all that and we get certified. So the whole thing is, I get back to them, and in the process of getting back to them, I make sure at least I educate them in one way or another how beautiful the industry is, and at least they don't end up going back as they came to my inbox.
Interesting. Amon, how do you take advantage of that kind of scenario whereby someone sends you a message and they want to get to know more about you and also about the coffee business? So how do you take advantage of that? Do you give them all the information, or do you tell them, you can find me at such and such a place and we can talk, or you actually take your time and say, let's talk through this, let's get on a video call or something like that, and let me walk you through it. So how do you take advantage of that kind of interaction?
Well, it depends on how that someone has slided into my DMs. if this person has come with an agenda of, just brief information, and I'm at liberty to give out that information, because there might be someone coming in your DM and they want that secret information.
The whole course.
The whole course. Definitely you won't do that. But if it's just giveable information and it's brief, you can give it to them. But also when it needs like sitting down, talk about it like in nits and gritties, then you have to set up an appointment and then do that. And by the way, that's how you get your brand out there. Because just imagine Emma came into my DM and you asking me something, but the way I respond to you, I show you that, okay, I'm available, but not so much available. Exactly. So if you want me, please make an appointment with me and we shall meet. Then this person will get to know that, okay, this is a high brand that I'm dealing with. I have to pay respect to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you just advertise yourself there. You bait them into
yes.
You bait them into coming. Yeah, that's very interesting. So the final question I want to ask on branding is this. Okay, I've become a big brand. I'm out there. People know about me. Okay, how do you keep up there? Because I believe it's easier to rise to the top, but keeping in that spot is a really hard thing to do. So to the both of you, how do I keep up there once I've gotten my brand to that level?
First of all, you have to be friendly, because people like friendly people. You have to be friendly and you have to be consistent. You don't have to give the same content all the time. You have to keep changing, beautifying, the industry, and all that. So you have to actually make people love coffee. That's what I actually do on my social media handles, and I end up getting students. I want to be like you. You've inspired me. Actually, people come to me and they're like, what inspired me into coffee is your love for coffee. I've got a lot of them. So you have to give really good content and to be consistent, and friendly actually. Yes.
To Amon, the same thing. How do you keep up there?
Well, I think it's just staying on course, because what you used to take you to that top level, it's what you will use to stay on that top level. Because when you lose what you intended to do, then it means this audience will go away from you. They'll be like, okay, Emma no longer does what we subscribed him to do for us. Then why don't we go to someone who needs to do something we subscribe to? So you lose that content. Hence you're falling.
Okay, interesting. So basically, for those who are watching, if you're a barista, you're involved in the coffee business, even if you're a farmer, I believe that there's a way you can actually brand yourself as a coffee farmer and be I don't think I've heard of anyone. So for a coffee farmer out there, this is a secret tip. This is the right time to brand yourself on social media as a coffee farmer. You don't know how many deals you can actually come up with. Well, we've reached to that point of the show where we get to brew a cup of coffee. We have had very many people here, and we're talking with Amon and saying we need to do a show where we just rate the cups of coffee that we have taken here, and that put a lot of pressure on Swabra, basically, because now she has to make a really good cup of coffee. All right, so Swabra, I know that people watching from home are seeing us with all these, things, and they're wondering, okay, what do they have on the show today? Okay, so we just want to start from the basics. What do we have on our set here, and what kind of coffee are we going to make? So basically, you're just going to run us through it, and I'm going to try and do this with you.
Okay, that's
hopefully I won't make any mistakes.
That's a good thing, because in most cases we teach our people outside there who are viewing to brew this, but today it's hands-on with you also. As they're learning, you're also learning.
It's good that I'm the coffee human here, so I can make a mistake. You guys can't make a mistake. So Swabra, over to you. Just take us through what we have on set and how we're going to do this.
This is an AeroPress. It's a manual or craft brewing equipment. It is portable. You can carry it anywhere you go. So it is categorized it is under black coffee or brewed coffee. So you're going to brew coffee.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so we have our coffee here. We also have a cup with different white things inside. They kind of look like the small pieces of bread we use in the cafe. So just tell us, what do we have here? Why is it white? Can't we get another color like pink or something like that?
These are filter papers actually. We use them to filter our coffee. Reason being, everything is manual, so we need a filter inside there. So this is our filter paper. This is our coffee. This is the AeroPress. This is where the filter paper actually goes. And then our weighing scale right there.
It's amazing that every barista who comes has to weigh their coffee.
You need these things. You don't just have to.
There's always that average of water to coffee. You have to really
exactly.
Okay, so we have our AeroPress here.
Yeah.
You know, we have our filters. And we're just waiting for our water to get ready so we can go with this. We also have this. You know, this looks like a small ping pong.
This is a spoon.
Instrument, yeah.
This is a spoon. This one we use it to stir our coffee.
Yeah.
It's the barista word is actually bloom. Bloom, not stir, because
so
everyone knows what stir means.
So you bloom, you don't stir.
we bloom our coffee.
So we stir tea.
Yes, but we bloom coffee. Yeah.
All right. So as we go on, for those who are home, it's actually easy to make a cup of coffee. Most people think that you have to have some serious kind of equipment to brew a very good cup of coffee. And I know, Amon, there are people who have asked you, you know, how can I buy this instrument? How can I get this? And I guess you always tell them, you know what, it's easy to make a cup of coffee. You know, you can get a French press or you can get an AeroPress and actually, you know, make this cup of coffee, right? So where do we go next? We have everything set up. I have mine here. I still have no idea where I'm going with this, but let's see how that goes. So what is the capacity of this? Is there a specific capacity, and are there different spoons with different capacities?
Not really, actually, because that's why we need the weighing scale.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the main purpose is making you smart and you work smart to scoop, not just pouring the whole thing.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So here we are.
So you can use any spoon, actually. It's not specifically supposed to be.
Yeah, but this one looks cool.
Yeah,
it looks more professional.
Yeah, it's professional. It's the barista spoon, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So as we wait for our water to boil so we can brew this coffee, there are very few ladies that are basically involved in the coffee business. Okay. It's not something that you hear ladies saying, I'm a barista. Okay. It's more of a male-dominated kind of industry.
Yeah.
So coming from your perspective, okay, how can we get more ladies into the coffee business? They don't have to only be a barista, they don't have to be a cupper. You can even go down into growing coffee, you know. How do we make it nice? How do we make it cool? How do we make it interesting for ladies to, you know, get into the coffee business?
I think that takes us back to, you know, the schools where we go for this, you know, where we go for the whole courses and all that. We have a challenge that we have very few schools here in Uganda. So a lot of people are not really that informed. And of course, ladies, I don't know why they are not confident about this industry. Everyone says coffee is for men, but no, it's not. So I think they are not informed. I think it all goes back to being informed about the industry, which actually we are trying to do. Me personally, I'm trying to do that, yes. So we have to also show them that there are very good things in the industry. You can achieve a lot in the industry. Like I talked about the competitions earlier. Yeah, we go for competitions, for these competitions and all that. People think we are just in this industry to make money, but we are in it to win, to win. Yes, so they have to be confident and informed, I think.
Okay, so Amon, to you, how do we get more women involved? You know, as we get ready to basically brew a cup of coffee and come to the end of the show, how do we get more women involved in the coffee business?
I think it's just a matter of demystifying the myths that are around coffee with women. You know, there are a lot of myths that come along with that coffee dries up women, coffee makes you lose sleep. You know, I think we just need to demystify that, and we shall have more women come on board.
Interesting. So if you're a lady out there, don't be scared to be involved in the coffee business. It's like being a chef. We have very many men who are chefs. You'd think women would actually be the chefs in these big places, but they're men. Okay, so we want to see a point whereby we actually have more female baristas than the males. Okay, so let's get into brewing our coffee right now. I think our water is ready. As we're coming towards the end of the show, but before we get there, let's show you guys how to brew a good cup of coffee by the coffee goddess.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to start by preheating my filter paper. I do this because I don't want my coffee to have that pepper smell in it. So I have to first preheat my filter paper. And then I have my weighing scale here. I need my coffee. So I'm going to be using a ratio of 13 grams of coffee with 200 mLs of water.
So do you also like make your own coffee and grind it, or you just depend on getting coffee from different
I really do make my own coffee. I roast my own coffee.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm trying to study how to be a good roaster. I do